Hey, what's going on, people? It's your main guy, CBK, and I just want to bring this to my people's attention, to the world's attention, whoever comes across this video, right? We're going through some very unsettling, challenging times where, we've got the war with, what's going on? We call it a war. It's more or less it's an attack. I don't want to use the wrong terms, but it's an attack at the moment on Ukraine, and obviously Ukraine, it's reported that they are gonna try to obviously defend themselves, right? It's not quite clear as to why Russia wants to go ahead and attack Ukraine, but what is clear is Russia is definitely one of these nations with a lot of firepower, a lot of technology that they can use at their disposal to achieve whatever agenda they're trying to achieve. Now, I'm not here to pick any sides. To be quite honest, I don't really get into this type of stuff, and this channel isn't really about politics and, who wants to fight for what. For me personally, I think all war should be ended. I think everyone should destroy their nuclear weapons and everybody just revert back to zero, right? We go back to an old bartering system where we trade whatever we have to trade. If you've got oil, then we should be producing wheat. And if I'm producing wheat, and someone else should be, supplying fish or supplying meat or supplying whatever. This is what we should do. I think that a whole complete reset, right, this, just completely wipe the slate clean is what we should do. This is what I believe in. You're right. So then wealth can be distributed equally amongst nations and peoples from different colors, races, creeds, and everything else. And anyway, it could be a pipe dream, but this is what I believe in, believe it or not, right? Anyway, this is very concerning for those who still hold small or large amounts of large amounts of fiat currencies in your bank account. Now, we already know in a lot of countries, especially in the West, holding money in your house is illegal up to a certain amount, right? So you probably could get away with like up to 5,000, but anything above that, it's absolutely illegal. Kind of weird, but it is. It's supposed to be your money, but it's illegal. You can't keep it. But keeping it in the bank is equally dangerous. And you could lose every single pence, penny, dollar, cent, and whatever derivative you use in your country based on this one factor right here. And it's called the wiper malware. Now, this wiper malware, a lot of banks and a lot of financial institutions, and you yourself should be very, very concerned about this. We do know that if at the moment we're playing a very, very tight sort of game with Russia at the moment. We know Russia has everything it needs to absolutely defend itself. And nations are obviously treading carefully in terms of how they can go ahead and try to come into some type of negotiations, as well as bringing on sort of like embargoes and stifling Russia's money, right? The fact is, though, is that Russia right now, what they've done is they've allegedly have used this wiper malware on the Ukrainian banks and completely wipe the data. Now, if you understand how money is generated, it's generated using a Swift terminal. Literally, someone just taps in a bunch of zeros. You might start with one and a couple of zeros, or 1 and 10,000 zeros. And that's how money is generated, right? Now, if that is computer, that's basically computers that's actually sending it. It's computer. Wise terminal is actually a Swift terminal, is actually used to basically send that information. It's almost like a fax system, but it's still on a computer layer or on a TCP/IP topological layer, right? Now, the reality is, if you can wipe that information, then you with $1 in your bank account or $10 trillion in your bank account, that can be wiped straight away, right? Now, there isn't, as far as I know, any paper document to prove how much you have. It's all computerized. So you then have the job, the great job, in arguing, well, hold up, no, I had this and here's my bank statement, right? So I suppose you could use a bank statement. But then how do you prove, and how do the banks know that just before the wipe that that they transferred X amount to you, or you took it, you went into the bank and you took over the counter OCT and withdrawn X amount? So it's going to be very, very difficult, plus time consuming, to prove how much you should have in your bank accounts. That's a big disruption that we do not want. Now, I'm saying all that to say this. With a hardware ledger wallet, or hardware wallet, there's other ones other than Ledger. You've got, I think, 3 or 4 on the market now, right? If you have your funds on a wallet, right, that's completely separate from any external computerized system, then you still have your funds, right? Now, the only thing that will stop you selling that fund, is obviously if there's no electricity, and that would the whole world would be in disaster if there's no electricity, because computers talk to each other on a wide area network. So the whole purpose really of me talking about this video, right, is you have some people who are holding on to fiat currency and transferring their assets or their wealth from cryptocurrency into fiat currency, and then you have those who are holding on to cryptocurrency and completely trying to separate and stay away from fiat currency. I'm not here to advise you to pick any way, right? I know the way that I'm picking, right? But it's food for thought. It's something that you should think about, because as we edge closer to a decision which has to be made, whether the West intervenes with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, or we completely leave it alone, something's going to happen. One thing I do know is Russia is not just a small fry. Russia has, as I said, not only a lot of firepower. We're talking about, I believe Russia has 4 nuclear weapons. Yeah, so we're not just talking about one. Some countries just have one and they're happy with that. Right? No, Russia has 4, as far as I know, based on information which let's just find out. How many nuclear warheads does yeah, okay. A lot of people's asking this question, so let's just have a look. All right, subsequent efforts at disarmament has not stopped Russia from continuing to develop its technology. Today, the country proposes the world's largest nuclear arsenal with nearly 6,000 warheads, with correspondence to almost half. Right, so that's warheads. Let's just say weapons. All right. Let's come back with this. Right, okay, so I'm not sure where the number 4 came from. The reality is they have 6,000 warheads. That's amazing. I mean, come on, man, 6,000 warheads. How can you argue with someone like that? Now, you see what you... Look, people thought King Jong-un was, was a threat in that sense. Russia is one of the biggest threats we ever faced. And if you think just their nuclear is a threat, think about their technology, think about their hackers, think about their coders, think about when you put all of those things together, now you have a mighty, mighty beast. I would say, leave them alone. If they, you know, just don't, guys. I would say just leave them alone, man. Just try to protect the Ukraine people as much as possible. Don't get into war with these people, man. You know, I think it doesn't matter if America, UK and Europe and NATO get involved, we will be biting off something bigger than we can chew. And if you think the life being lost right now is anything, you really don't want to see a nuclear bomb or missiles coming towards you. And then you have to think about the livestock, the polluting of the seas and the water and the air. Okay? You know, if you cast your mind back maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, there was a massive massive storm, windstorm that happened somewhere in Saudi Arabia, and the sand, I wake up to go to work one morning and realize there's a whole load of sand on my car, and I thought it was some kids that just, you know, playing games, only to realize no, it was on the news and everyone's talking about you waking up with grains of sand. Right? And here I am in the UK, and Saudi Arabia is not just down, it's not my neighbouring country. They're thousands of miles away, but yet the wind, took that up into the cloud, and that cloud came over the UK and it came down as rain, and there you go. Now imagine, that's, particles of sand, which relatively can be heavy compared to a gas, or even rain particles going up in the air, which mix with all types of whatever chemicals they use to make that nuclear weapon, right? So I'm just saying, look, guys, I'm just giving this little information out, man. It's something to consider in terms of us trying to protect ourselves, protect our wealth, and be able to feed our family at a point in which, if we do have some type of apocalypse or some type of a World War III, which I hope and doubt that we're going to get that far. I think we kind of know we should just look. If dude want to get back Ukraine, then let's come into some type of a table negotiation and just say, well, look, all right, as long as the people can kind of keep their freedom so they can still be democratic, but you're like the president or government or whatever it is. I don't know. Who knows what he wants? I'm just speaking hypothetically. I'm not interested in it, so I haven't really done much research into it. But I'm just saying, going back to you as a individual, we as the 99% of the world population who can be adversely affected by this, think very carefully how you are protecting your wealth, okay? I'll tell you why. Because this wiper malware, guys, is out there, all right? And it's already been used, and it can be used again, all right? So I'm just saying. I've been your main guy, CBK, man. Peace. Your boy's out. Later.